Hello, fellow hikers. My name is Claudia. I live in Idaho, but I was born and raised in Switzerland. I love to hike, especially in Switzerland, but I have a hard time finding material online on how to do hut-to-hut hikes. I can find huts, but I can't find the distance between each other if it's feasible in one day. So I want to share some of the things I figured out and help you on your way.
This was one of the most thrilling solo hikes that I've ever done. 5 days, 4 nights. I would hike around 74 kilometers, gaining a total of over 6,000 meters elevation, staying all 4 nights in different altitude huts along the way. The goal was to hike all the way to Sedrun in the Swiss canton of Graubünden, where my family was having a reunion in honor of my mom's 80th birthday. I flew into the Zurich airport and designed a trek that would take me 5 days to get to Sedrun, starting in the town of Engelberg. The train ride was absolutely gorgeous along the lake of Zug, a quick pit stop in Lucerne where I had enough time to get out and take a picture of the beautiful and historical Tower Bridge, and then getting off in Engelberg, which is situated at the foot of the Titlis mountain. If you have time, definitely explore this area, there's lots to do. Started hiking along the river and then gently up through the forest, through some beautiful meadows with a few cows, and then climbing to the hut. Unfortunately, it started raining on me, but I always followed the white, red, white signs. Towards the top, there's a fun mini via ferrata with some metal pegs to help you through some steep spots. And on to my first hut, which is called Spannorthütte. This cabin was built in the 1800s, and in 2018 they inaugurated a brand new addition, which is now used for the bedrooms. It sleeps 48 people, and it's not typically very crowded. People usually go there to do some serious rock climbing the following day. When you get there, make sure to slide on a pair of Crocs that fits you, and then prepare yourself to enjoy some great company around the dinner table. We had some soup, some amazing Alpine macaroni casserole, and then vanilla pudding for dessert. There's no hot water, but the kitchen and eating area are heated, and you've got power to charge your phone. The bedrooms are very clean and new, with some pretty comfy bunk beds and amazing views. Don't forget to bring your sleeping bag liner. These two guys were the host and cook and were super friendly. Today's hike should take about 4 hours, gaining almost 1,000 meters elevation. Make sure to start hiking from Engelberg by about 2 p.m., no later than 3. Day 2 was absolutely crazy with 10 hours of hiking, almost 2,000 meters elevation gain, and 23 kilometers hiking. And when you look at the map, you can see that I could have taken such a shortcut, but I was told the trail was impassable without some serious ice picks and crampons. I definitely made sure to be on the trail by 7 a.m. and to hike with lots of gusto, jogging when possible. You start by reversing a lot of your tracks you did last night to going downhill this morning, but soon you start climbing again, following directions for Suren Pass. On your way, you'll see this adorable tiny church. It's worth peeking inside. There's a farm there. You just hang a right along the fence, and then you'll see the trail again that will take you to the top of the pass. I was there in about 3 hours, and I had 7 more to go. On the way down the backside, you'll be hiking over some snow. Be careful to choose spots that aren't exactly over that natural tunnel formation where the stream runs, so you don't fall through. That is when I met a super fun lady, and we hiked together for the next hour. We passed by this cheese-making farm. The lady told me of her favorite spot in Switzerland not far away, so I decided to change my itinerary tomorrow a little bit to see this place. When you see the signposts, follow the direction towards Erstfeld. You'll be going downhill in the forest for a while, and then the road opens up to a view on the valley city of Erstfeld. And then you'll follow the signs to Kröntenhütte. This is the only time on the trail where I could not find fountains to fill up my water bottles. So when I was desperate enough, I went to this friendly chalet where I was able to fill my 3 bottles. What a relief. But I had splendid weather, amazing views, and found some wild strawberries to snack on. And then there was this fun ropes course in the forest. I just had to take a picture of how perfectly that firewood was stacked. I love Swiss precision. At this point, you'll be wrapping back around after pretty much surrounding the entire mountain range and going west again. You'll be following a stream and eventually crossing it. You'll see two options to get to the hut, and I chose the more direct one. It was pretty steep, but beautiful lush ferns, lots of stone steps, and amazing views. In the future, I'll bring a water filter, but I drank so much from the streams, the water was so refreshing, and luckily it didn't make me sick. I was totally exhausted, but feeling victorious when I finally arrived at the hut. This one is really popular and packed with people. There's tons to do. You have a slackline, zip line, an entire shop full of rock climbing ropes and gear. There's a little garden, a natural swimming pool, and inside people are playing music, playing games and cards, and planning their rock climbing adventures for the next day. This is one hut you definitely want to book in advance and not just show up like I did. I was lucky they found me a bed. Dinner did not disappoint. There was a fresh salad, and the main course was funny because it was exactly the same as last night, but then a super good dessert cream with fresh raspberries. This place is a rock climbing mecca. There were lots of youth groups and more serious rock climbers, and I had the luxury of a pay shower with hot water. On day 3, I was definitely going to take the shortcut over the mountain, and it was supposed to be a way shorter day with just about 5 hours hiking. A steep climb at the beginning, but then pretty easy the rest of the day. Going over the mountain meant that I was going to follow the white trail marker, which is a warning that it's going to be a lot more technical. This climb was no joke. At the beginning, it was fun. I could see tons of rock climbers on the cliffs. But I had more and more scree on the trail, and the steeper it got, the more I was literally on my hands and knees, sliding half a step back each time. The problem was there was no visible trail markers anymore, so I probably didn't go up the most practical way. Plus there was a bunch of snow I had to cross. Finally, at the top, there was a cable to help you the last bit over the ridge. Climbing down the other side was not much better at first, but gradually became a real trail again. The reward was this amazing blue lake called Niedersee. I saw a woman taking an icy swim. Right there was another altitude shelter. I wasn't going to stay at this one, but I wanted to take a closer look. It's called Hütte. The hut was built in 1940 with a contemporary annex added in 2009. Climbing over the scree took me so long that I was at this hut over an hour late according to my schedule. After that, it was a pretty gentle downhill into an amazing valley. I took so many pictures of flowers, and they were all different. Looking back, I could still see the Hütte way up there in the distance. I had to do a little detour because of some closed trails, but it took me on these really cool ridges and viewpoints, and then I could see my hut for the night. It's called Sunniggrathütte. This one is not part of the Swiss Alpine Club. It's privately owned by a family, which was fun to experience. The owner told me how as a child the whole family worked super hard to help their dad build this cabin. Between the years 1960 and 1970, every weekend, every holiday, kids helped quarry nearby rock, and they bucketed sand for mortar out of the Reuss River in the valley and brought it up the mountain on rustic construction gondolas along with every other bit of construction materials. There was just a little outhouse with a bucket filled with water from the nearby lake. The dinner was a little lower quality, but it was still fine. The sleeping room was made of 2 rows of bunks with 5 mattresses next to each other on top and bottom for a maximum of 20 people. There was just one family with me that night. Day 4 was a huge day again. I divided it into 2 parts because I wanted to make a detour where my friend told me she loves to hike. So part one was just going down to the valley, which was almost 7 kilometers and a huge elevation drop. Then I would catch a bus up a super windy road, then a tiny gondola, and then I would hike up there around the lake. I could have taken the gondola back down, but I decided to do it on foot, and then all the way to my final hut. This was another 14.5 kilometers and almost 1,300 meters elevation gain. It started out super gorgeous in the morning light with heather everywhere. I absolutely loved that part of the trail going down. It was just glorious. I mean, look at the view from this bench. When I got to the lake Arnisee, I actually missed my turn, but it was one of the most beautiful spots ever, so no regrets there. I love jogging downhill, so I pretty much jogged all the way down to Amsteeg. There I bought some food at the bakery and I took the post bus, which was just a couple of dollars, up this super windy road. Those drivers have nerves of steel because the road is simply not wide enough for those kinds of turns in a big bus. I would actually recommend this bus drive just for the craziness of it all. It's madness and tunnels and cool stuff. Then I took this tiny gondola up the mountain to Golzern. It was very inexpensive and I would probably recommend taking it down again to make the day a little shorter. Then I hiked to the lake. Had a nice little rest there with my feet in the water, hiked around the lake, and then back towards the gondola where I made my way down. It was super charming, but my friend had told me that she loves all the wildflowers there, and I think I missed them. I was there towards the end of July and just a little bit too late. It was time to make my way south towards my hut, gently gaining elevation. Really cool streams and rivers and waterfalls. Then I got to an alpine dairy farm and I just had to peek inside. This guy was hard at work making cheese. He let me take a few pictures and then I bought a piece of cheese to enjoy later on. As the afternoon ended, it decided to rain really hard on me. I remember stopping at this little prayer spot to put on rain ponchos and backpack covers. There was a cute little donkey there, and finally I could see the hut in the distance. This one is called Etzlihütte. The hot tub was really tempting, and they had a heated room to dry all my wet clothes. I sat at dinner with this father, son, and grandpa from the Netherlands. The grandpa had taken his son to this area to explore for mountain crystals when he was 8 years old, and now the son wanted to do the same thing for his own son on his 8th birthday. You just meet the coolest people in those huts. Day 5 and final day of this trek. I would have one last pass to climb and then mostly descend to my final destination of Sedrun in the Canton of Graubünden. This is the one place in Switzerland, and in the world for that matter, where people speak that rare language of Romanche. That's about 60,000 people, which is 0.5% of the Swiss population. Most of them also speak Swiss German and or Italian. When I made it to the top of Krützli Pass, it was time to crack into that delicious alpine cheese I bought yesterday for my lunch picnic, and then descend on the other side with a beautiful stream on my side. Then I got to this big boulder that had a plaque on it. I'm going to give you a little translation. It's basically a witch's dance floor. The legend is that witches carried it to this spot on 2 hairs. One side of the boulder was for the musician to tap the tempo with his foot, and apparently you can clearly see the indents on the stone from the witch's pointy heels. The musician's instrument would have been a mouth harmonica consisting of a comb and a piece of paper stretched on it. On the other side of the canyon is another big boulder for witches to dance on, and they could hear each other's music across the valley. Anyways, I finally made it down to the valley floor into the town of Sedrun and could hardly wait to meet up with my family. My 4 siblings and I are all trilingual, but our kids speak either French, German, or English, so it's really fun watching all those cousins overcoming the barriers of language.
Your neighbor, you clap, your neighbor, you snap, you.
Awesome!
Neighbor.
Oh,
Neighbor.
we gotta go, guys!
Clap, your neighbor, you snap, you.
But at the center of everything is my mom that we got to celebrate on her 80th birthday. She was my greatest inspiration to love hiking. I'll have to make some videos about the hikes she organized when we were kids. It was incredible. And for our reunion, she had rented this house for all of us. We had great activities during the day, like hiking to this lake, which is the starting point of the famous Rhine River, just about to begin its 1,200-kilometer trip to the North Sea. This part of Switzerland is definitely off the beaten path from the more touristy spots, but the city of Disentis has a very historical cloister, and in Andermatt you can do a crazy fun Via Ferrata, which I will share on another video. This one is 100% vertical, but also perfectly safe. It was great fun for my hubby and kids. Thanks for watching. If you like this, please like and subscribe. I've got so many more Swiss adventures to share and would love your support. Happy hiking!